I'm Natalie Sherlock. I'm 27 and I live in Swanage. So I have autism and ADHD, which is quite the combination, because they can be very contradictory. You know, like routine, for example. My autistic brain loves routine, but the ADHD brain is just like, can't keep a routine. I was diagnosed as autistic when I was 18, and then I got diagnosed with ADHD like a couple of years ago. I had to fight to sort of even be assessed for ADHD, and one doctor said, "Oh, what's the point of knowing? Yeah, I have combined ADHD." Yeah, there are 3 types of ADHD. Inattentive, which used to be called ADD, but is now a moot term. Then there is hyperactive, which is the stereotypical schoolboy that can't sit still. So combined ADHD is what I have, which is a mixture of both. So you have inattentive, some hyperactive, and you're just in the middle, like in the Venn diagram of ADHD symptoms. My life before diagnosis is like playing Call of Duty on veteran difficulty, and I've suddenly switched to recruit. You know, it's just like, it makes life a lot easier. You can find other people that are in that community, and you can take, the sort of peer advice from them, or support, or whatever. If you're struggling with some particular aspect of ADHD, then there's sure enough someone that also struggles with it, and they might have a better way of dealing with it. I'm an artist. I do lots of paintings and stuff like that. I think art is very helpful, for mental health. Normally, tend to do abstract because, it's like, well, it's an ADHD thing, really. Rules, I don't like them. My autistic brain is like rules. ADHD, hate rules. Writing is one of my favourite activities. One of my autistic hyperfixations, a lot of us have them, is sitcoms. And so I write fan fictions of my favourite sitcoms, and also, like I said, comedy. I've already sort of started compiling a stand-up routine. I make jokes about being autistic and having ADHD and OCD and all of these various things, multiple personalities. It's like, oh, you get 12 comedians for the price of one, except we're not all funny. I love making other people laugh. There is so much stigma around disability and mental health. If you can make someone laugh, it breaks the ice and actually thinks, oh, actually, we can talk about this and it's okay to laugh. When I first started, it was all about making videos about autism and ADHD to educate people. It's given me a platform to educate people and an outlet if I want to rant about something. I always love seeing comments on my videos, nice comments. I've had a few trolls, but yeah, but who hasn't, you can't call yourself a YouTuber if you haven't had a troll. It's helpful to have a community. It gives me a sense of, oh, I'm doing something good. Probably 6-7 years ago, I accessed Steps to Wellbeing, and because of constant panic attacks I was having. When I was first did the test, it said that I was severely anxious and moderately depressed. And a turning point, he said, you know, do you have suicidal thoughts? And I said, no more than the normal person. And he said, normal people don't have that sort of thoughts, you know. So it's like, okay. Yeah, that was kind of like an eye-opening experience for me. But then after a couple of months of therapy, you know, it helped. After a couple of months going to a therapist, I started seeing another one, and I carried on going to both. I'm also a volunteer for the charity SOBS, Survivors of Bereavement by Suicide. There's quite an alarming statistic about people with ADHD and suicide. It's quite a big number of people. The person I lost to suicide also had ADHD. It's very, you know, because we are prone to the comorbidities like depression, anxiety, and all sorts of other things, and also no fear. But obviously, you know, when people actually do that sort of thing, they're not thinking clearly. What you've got to remember is nothing is permanent. In life, you've got to remember that you will come out of the situation you find yourself in. You know, you never know what's going to happen. I don't think we should hide away from these topics. It needs to be spoken about, and that it needs to be no longer a taboo, you know, because it happens, and if we talk about it, then it might not happen as often. I think it's important to note that the spectrum is not a linear spectrum. It is more like a spider web, or as my favourite Dr. David Tennant would say, it's more like a big ball of wibbly wobbly timey-wimey stuff. Which is, I think, the perfect explanation for the autism spectrum, because it's not linear. It's not like, severely autistic to mildly autistic, and then, you know, however you fall on the line in between. It's all different. Autism, it's like it's personality before diagnosis. It's like a magnifying glass. It sort of magnifies your personality. If you're an natural introvert, then an autistic, then you'll be super introvert. But me, I happen to be super extrovert because of the ADHD as well. Like an autism expert once said, if you've met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism. Yeah.